What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Last Principles. I'm your host, M.A., former member of the ICOC, the International Churches of Christ, baptized on October 8th of 2000, and escaped in November of 2013. In my last few years of my time in the ICOC, memes became a thing. If you're not familiar with what a meme is, you most likely have seen one if you've spent any amount of time on the internet or social media. It's basically just a little joke that gets passed around the internet, like a image with some text on it, or sometimes just text. And it's basically, just a little funny joke that gets passed around. Memes became so popular that there was a meme group that got started for disciples. I believe it was called either ICOC memes or disciple memes, one of the two. Anyway, I did not leave that group after I left the ICOC. One, I still found it funny. It was a little bit of a way to kind of heal through humor, I guess, similar to what a few other pages are doing right now. Big shout out to Side Hugs and Did You Have Your Quiet Time on Instagram. They're both kind of doing the same thing. They're both doing some ICOC related memes there. But yeah, it was really just a kind of laugh to keep from crying, humor therapy kind of thing for me. The other thing, though, was similar to how a lot of current members know that there's toxicity there. They know that there are things that need to change. They know there are big flaws in the ICOC. They choose to stay and try to make changes from the inside. And that's pretty much what I was trying to do with the meme page. Now, I never posted because, I wanted to keep my head down and not out myself. But, I would only ever comment on memes, and I would try to bring a down-to-earth perspective to some of these memes, try to give people an outside of ICOC perspective there. And I was always very strategic and deliberate about when I would comment. And my comments used to always be very, very well received. I always got a lot of likes and comments on them. So yeah, that's what I tried to do. Now I would eventually get kicked out. I'm not sure how it really happened. Nobody messaged me about anything. All of a sudden I just realized that I couldn't find the group, and I didn't see the anything come up on my newsfeed anymore. So I don't know if somebody snitched on me, or I don't know if they do a periodic sweep of the membership to make sure that all the members are actual ICOC members. I don't know. But yeah, not in the group anymore. But before I left, I want to say this was I didn't get kicked out until maybe about like 2 years ago, I think. But I want to say before the pandemic, I want to say 2018, 2019. There was this one particular meme that really grinded my gears. No. The meme itself didn't grind my gears, but it was people's responses to the meme that really set me off. And it is the meme that is before you right now. All right, so we got a picture of Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants. And now Squidward looked like he done been through it. Like, he is distraught, sad, disappointed. Like, he is down on his luck. He is exiting somewhere. I don't know where he's leaving. But the meme goes, "You leaving midweek after being announced that your interest is now dating your discipler, to which he told you that he has your back and will help you guys date one day." I read this meme. I was like, shit. Whew, damn, bro. That's rough. Like, that if I had a worst enemy, I would not wish that on them, because that hurt. Like, this exact situation did not happen to me, but I was close enough to different elements of this to where I still felt it, where it still hurt. I'm like, damn, that's anyway. The guy who posted the meme, he confirmed later on in the comments that this didn't happen to him, but he knows somebody that it happened to. And I've shared this meme with a few other people because I was a little heated because of the comments. So I was sharing it with different people, trying to be like, hey, y'all, am I tripping? Am I tripping for feeling how I'm feeling? So I've shared it with various people over time. And the people who I've shared it with, they also confirmed that they know somebody that this happened to. So this has happened to somebody. This has happened to multiple people. But even if I didn't have people to confirm for me that it happened to other people that they knew, I would still die and resurrect and die again on the hill that this happened to somebody. Because I can vouch for every single element in this meme here. Like, I can confirm that this all is a thing. So first of all, when I first read it, well, after my initial reaction, after After I reacted, my first thought was, I know exactly when this happened. This had to have been 2003 or before, aka right when or before the infamous Henry Kreite letter dropped, right? By the way, we are just 4 days as of this recording. I'm recording this on February 6th of 2024. We are 4 days past the 21st anniversary of the Henry Kreite letter dropping. Anyway, because all the stuff that happened in this meme, I'm like, this, at least where I was in Atlanta at the time. I had moved back to Atlanta by the time the letter dropped. After that, a lot of this stuff didn't happen anymore. So at least where I was, all this stuff ceased after the Henry Kreite letter. So I was like, okay, this had to have been 2003 or before. All right, so let's break this all the way down. I'm actually going to go I'm going to go out of order on purpose here. The last part, your discipler, to which he told you that he has your back and will help you guys date one day. Now, there was a time in the ICOC that you were not allowed, pause for emphasis, you were not allowed to directly talk to the person you liked about the concept of going steady with them. Side note, going steady. This is not intended to be a diss towards anybody in this particular generation, but when I first heard the words going steady, I was like, that's such a boomer thing to say. Like that sounds like something out of some reruns of a 70s or 80s family sitcom. Like nobody says go steady anymore. What is this? I mean, not that my generation's words were any better. Like I grew up on we go together. Oh, me and such go together. Oh, such and such, they go together. Oh, I used to go with this person. Oh, this person used to go with that person. Go where? What are y'all talking about? Anyway, you were not allowed to speak directly to the person you liked about the idea of being boyfriend and girlfriend with them. What you had to do was talk to your discipler, aka your handler, your parole officer. You had to talk to your discipler, who would then talk to your interest discipler, and they would begin negotiations, for lack of a better term. And once they found out if there was a mutual interest, then they would determine if they approved of y'all being together. Ain't that a bitch? You got to get approval from somebody who ain't the person you like about whether or not you and the person you like can be together. And it gets worse. Then leadership has to approve of it, because they have to determine if you're good together. No. They got to determine if you're good for the ministry. Yes. And I'm bringing that up because after I've left, I've heard so many horror stories of people being involved in low-key arranged dating couples and low-key arranged marriages. And it's because the leadership is pushing these two people together because they think they would be good for the ministry. Again, not good for each other, good for the church. So, shoot, even if you didn't like the other person, even if there was not a mutual interest, they would try to encourage y'all to be together, would try to steer y'all towards each other. If you didn't like the other person, you might get, oh, well, maybe you should give them a chance. They're such a good leader, or they're so humble, or they're so submissive, or you get quote unquote discipled for being too shallow because you weren't attracted to the person. So all that shit was happening. But yeah, bringing it back to the main point. Yes, you had to go through your discipler in order to date somebody. So even if your discipler did not specifically say these words, that they have your back and they will help you date one day, they still played no small part in helping you or not helping you date that person. So yes, that is factual. That is the thing. Hopping up to the top of this, you leaving midweek after being announced that your interest is now dating a discipler. Yes, it used to be announced in front of the whole church whenever two people started dating. I'd even heard of that like within my first, if it wasn't the midweek that happened while I was studying the Bible, it was the midweek right after. So we're sitting there and they're doing announcements, and then there's this couple in the singles ministry that they announced is going steady now. Everybody's hooting and hollering, cheering, clapping, celebrating, blah, blah, blah. And I'm happy for them. At the same time, I'm like, y'all just started dating. They're treating this like they got engaged, which is, I've talked about this in my, this and everything that I just said in my steady dating video a couple of years ago. Wow, a couple of years ago. It's wild that I've done this channel for 2 years now. Anyway, but yeah, I'll link that in the description. Put a little link on the screen there for that video if y'all want to hear about all of this in more in depth. But yeah, they were celebrating this couple going steady in the same way that regular people celebrate people getting engaged. And I feel like that adds just too much unwanted, unnecessary pressure on dating couples in the church. But yeah, so that, and then also, why is it our business that they started dating? Like, why does the whole church need to know that? Why is that announcement for church worthy? Right? That doesn't make sense. So there's that. So that used to be a thing. And again, I feel like at least in my neck of the woods, that stopped happening after the Crete letter. All right, now here's the juicy part. That your interest is now dating your discipler. Again, this didn't happen to me, but something close enough to it. I had a remixed version of this, and we'll get to that in a moment. But I do know 2 particular brothers this happened with. So story time. My first year in Tallahassee. So we got Brother K. I've mentioned Brother K before. Brother K is the one who actually invited me to study the Bible the first time, and I stood him up. And I actually just mentioned him in my last video, my dating misadventures video. He was the brother who was my double for my second date, and that was the haunted house / cemetery date. Yes, that if that sounds weird, it is fucking weird. Go listen to that video for all the laughs and shenanigans. Anyway, so that's Brother K. Then we got Brother R. Brother R was in my studies from the cross onto the end, and Brother R was also my double for my first date. Brother K and Brother R are roommates. Before I came on, Brother K was the head of not the whole campus ministry, but my school's branch of the campus ministry. Brother K was running that campus ministry, and he was discipling Brother R. Both Brother K and Brother R are interested in Sister X from out of town. By the time I get in, by the time I'm baptized, this has flipped. Now Brother R is head of my school's campus ministry. Brother R is now discipling Brother K. They both still like Sister X. Sounds like a sticky situation, right? Knowing that your discipler, based on what I said earlier, your discipler is the one who is facilitating you dating the person you like. What happens when y'all both like the same person? Now, I'm speculating here. I don't know how that worked. I don't know if they were both still trying to facilitate it for each other. I don't know if that facilitation got outsourced to somebody else. Like, hey, I know y'all both like the same sister. Let's, somebody else. I don't know. I don't know what happened in the background, but I know it had to have been complicated. So I want to say my second semester, Brother K does eventually start dating Sister X. And I'm riding in the car one day with Brother R, me and another brother are riding with him. And he's kind of respectfully venting to us about how he's feeling about the situation. He's like, yeah, I got to get over this bitterness in my heart over, losing out on that sister, which I think is human. I think that is totally understandable. That is totally fine. When somebody that you like ends up dating somebody that's not you, you're going to be disappointed. That's a human feeling. That is totally legit. That is totally allowed in my book. And, I commend him for, trying to work out that bitterness, because, I'm never going to sit here and try to say that it's okay to stay bitter about something for, just for a long time or for, perpetually being bitter. But at the same time, I'm like, be bitter for as long as you need to. Like that stuff is not easily gotten over. Now, big props to both Brother K and Brother R, because like I said, they were roommates and they discipled each other at different times. I had hung out with them both together. I've hung out with them individually. I've spent the night at their apartment before, hung out with them a bunch. Not one time did I ever catch any hint of animosity, bad blood, beef in between them. So if there ever was any of that, they did a really good job of not showing it. But yeah, that I could just imagine just the, again, I don't know if it's tension, but just there's got to be some kind of awkwardness going on with that. But yeah, like I said, whether it was there or not, if it was, they did a good job of not showing it. They worked it out. I mean, they remained roommates, they remained disciplers, blah, 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 all of that worked. When it happened to me, I was back in Atlanta at this point, and we were no longer doing the you need to talk to your discipler thing, but it was so ingrained in us that I was still seeking advice from people that I trusted about this particular sister that I liked. So I'm chilling with this brother in his dorm. Now, me and this brother, we still keep in contact. He is still in the ICOC, but we haven't hung out in a while. I don't think we've hung out since before the pandemic, but we are still on good terms, is what I'm saying. So I was getting advice from him about the sister that I liked, and he just stopped me one day. He's like, hey bro, I can't continue to give you advice about this sister because I like her too. And after my heart kind of sank a little bit when that happened, but I was like, you know what? Thank you for telling me that. I really appreciate that, because here's the thing. And here's the crux of the whole matter with this meme. The issue is not that the discipler started dating the brother's interest. That's not the issue. Yes, there would be disappointment involved in that. And again, you're going to be disappointed at any time when the person you like starts dating somebody else. That's a given. The problem was the discipler did not say jack shit to that brother about the fact that he liked her too. That's the problem. That lack of communication there, not being upfront about it, right? And had this brother who I had been getting advice from started dating this sister, him dating her would not have been what set me off. I would have been mad had he just not said anything the whole time. Then all of a sudden he's now dating her. Like, what? You ain't tell me nothing the whole time? Like, you could have at least said, hey, bro, hey, just so you know, I'm pursuing her too. That's all. And it's not about being possessive. It's not about, oh, I like her, so you can't like her. I know some girls will, like, if they find out they like the same guy, they'll both decide to not like him. That's not what I'm talking about. I would have just felt blindsided. I would have felt betrayed. I would have felt like, damn, where did this come from? This whole time I've been confiding in you about this person that I like. This whole time I've been getting advice from you, getting counsel from you, getting, strategizing with you. And this whole time you said nothing to me. And now you're dating her, which would probably lead me to think, dang, did you take information I gave you and use that for your behalf? Did you sabotage me and her? Did you steer her? Or what? Like, all that stuff would have gone through my head. So that's why I feel for this brother in this meme. That's why I would have been mad had it happened to me. That's why I appreciated my friend telling me ahead of time, hey, I like her too, so I can't really facilitate helping you and her. So there's that. So having gone through all of this, having broken all of this down, let's put yourself in these shoes, right? You like somebody. And you've been going because you are required to. Again, because you are required to. You are going through your discipler, you're getting advice from them. You're having your discipler talk to their discipler. You think this is being worked out. You think they're helping you along that path. The whole time your discipler doesn't say anything about them having an interest in the same person. And then all of a sudden, you find out at the same time everybody else in the church finds out, because it's being announced in front of the whole church that the person that was supposed to be helping you date the person that you like, now they're dating the person that you like. Tell me that if that doesn't stir up something in you, some kind of bad feeling, I'm sorry, you lying. Like that I would have felt hurt. I would have felt betrayed, and anybody would be well within their rights to have the same look on their face that Squidward is having. Maybe even some outrage. Maybe even some like just pissed offness, a stank face, or something like that. All right, so let's get to why the responses to this meme set me off. So two things. So this situation really highlights two things that are flaws in the ICOC. One, you have weaponized bitterness. I made a video about this a while back. It was actually called Weaponized Forgiveness, but both of them kind of go hand in hand here. When I say weaponized forgiveness, I'm talking about the fact that in the ICOC, there was always more pressure on the offended person to forgive the offender than there was on the offender to repent of what they did to offend that person. So So as you'll see, I'm going to post some screenshots of these because, again, I was sharing this meme and sharing the comments with some friends. So I got receipts, as the young folks say now. So there was weaponized forgiveness there. There was more pressure there. All the angst, all the criticism was being aimed at the brother who's on the business end of this and not on the discipler who wasn't being open and honest. So the B-side to my B-side, for those of y'all who catch it, I'm dating myself by saying that, cassette tapes versus CDs, you'll get it. The B-side to that video, I talked about weaponized bitterness, how the concept of bitterness was used against people. Don't dare feel bad about something for longer than 2 seconds. You will be branded as bitter. People will be told not to spend a lot of time with you. People will be told not to hang out with you because you're a bad influence. People will be told to not believe anything you say because, oh, he's just bitter. She's just bitter, right? And that's another thing that was being aimed at this person. Like, they were being mad, not being mad, but criticizing him for being bitter, right? And lastly, another thing that is represented with this is gaslighting. Gaslighting, the concept of making somebody question their experience, question their memories, right? So again, I'm telling y'all that there was a time where you had to go through your discipler to date somebody. But everybody in these comments seemed to forget that was even ever a thing. And then they're chastising this brother for having not gone directly to the sister that he likes. All right, so let's start with some of these comments. Actually, first, let me shout out the people who I believe were the people that got some sense in this whole thing. So now let me preface, I am not condoning violence. I am not condoning violence. However, I can understand. One brother was like, nah, bruh, square up. Let's repent after. That one had me cracking up. I was like, yeah, again, I don't know if I would have thrown hands over this, but I probably, the thought would have crossed my mind, and I definitely understand. One brother responded, on me, I'm saved, but can still get these hands. And I'm like, I'm with you. Another brother, kind of in the same vein, this one brother was like, nah, my guy, that's my ex-discipler at that point. How about he see me outside after that? I think that around the time that this happened, that whole cash me outside thing was the thing. I'll, those, if you know, you know. And then lastly, one brother said, hey, if he told you that and you need to bring it up with him, that's lying and potentially manipulation too. So I was like, yeah, some of these folks in here got their head on straight. Some of these folks are legit. Now, here's where things started to go left. First of all, I started noticing that there was a bunch of people in these comments complaining about how specific this meme was. This is an incredibly specific meme. This seems a little too specific. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. This is too specific. This is too specific. This is oddly specific, buddy. He sounded a little pissed off with the buddy part at the end. So I finally bit. I was like, just curious, for those of y'all who are mentioning or complaining that this is way too specific, why is that a problem? So one brother basically said that, the problem was that this is being aired out on social media instead of directly with that person. Now, to be fair, I don't think anybody in these comments had caught on to the fact that, because I think the brother who posted this, he said later on, after the comments had already started cooking, he stated that, hey, this didn't happen to me. This happened to somebody that I know. So a lot of people probably missed the fact that the brother who this happened to isn't the person who posted this. So the brother who this happened to isn't like airing this out on social media and not taking it directly to the person that did this to him. But yeah, I was like, I get it. I get that this does need to be talked about between the two people involved. But y'all seem to be, y'all throwing too much shade at the person that it happened to and none toward the person that did it, right? Because that person was being dishonest. That person was not, being forthcoming with how he felt, right? So then we start getting into the misdirected blame, just aiming everything at the person that it happened to and not the person who did it. This one sister says, well, I can assure anyone that maybe being direct and intentional with an interest will go a long way. Passive aggression, bitterness, and the inability to properly to appropriately address the situation are ugly and unattractive qualities, and most likely the sister dodged a bullet. So this is where I'm starting to get like, wait, hold up. Did we go to the same church? Are we talking about the same church where you had to go through your discipler and could not be direct? Yet she's chastising this brother for not being direct and intentional, calling him passive aggressive, calling him bitter, saying that he doesn't have an ability to address the situation directly. And I'm like, why are y'all jumping on this brother? This brother has done nothing wrong, and he could not do the things that you are saying that he should have done, that you're chastising him for not doing. Similarly, another brother jumps in with, interest does not equal exclusive. Looks like he's yelling here. Interest does not equal exclusive. You had your chance, man up and do better next time. That pissed me off. I was like, can we stop with this man up shit? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make another video about this or not, but like there was always this over emphasis on being hyper masculine in the ICOC, which, suppressing the emotions, suppressing the feelings. Let's not be emotional. And it's like, I feel like there's a chastising of this brother for not just suppressing those feelings and moving on, right? And then also the whole interest is not equal exclusive. Where in this meme does it say that he felt like that he was exclusive with that sister just because he had an interest in him? And, there's one brother who actually called him out on that. Or the discipler could have been man enough to talk to him. I love how he came back with the man enough part. I love the petty there. Or the discipler could have been man enough to talk to them about his developing feelings for that sister. It seems like the discipler used whatever information and swooped in and killed a potential relationship with someone who trusted him. I'm like, yes. I'm clapping as I'm reading this the first time I read it. And he ends with, that's foul. Yes, that is foul. So fucking foul. And I chime in on the meme. He said, but that's not what the meme says. And I chimed in, the meme doesn't say anything. The meme also doesn't say anything about the brother confusing interest with being exclusive either. This is about the discipler not having communicated anything with the brother. And then again, we got the weaponized bitterness part. Oh, from what I can tell, it's just all saltiness. And I was like, nah, that ain't it. And again, why are we chastising people for feeling bad? It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to express hurt for longer than a day, right? Next thing that pissed me off here, like I'm starting. They had me all the way fucked up at this point. I knew brothers who this happened to. The hearty laugh we have over this is so amazing. Why are y'all laughing at a brother's pain? Why are you having a hearty laugh over a brother's pain? It's a cold world. You'll be all right. Besides, if your intentions are for dating are purely for God, you'll be all right. Those brothers are doing great, FYI. Side note, why do we over spiritualize everything? Nowhere. First of all, the concept of dating is not in the Bible at all. But, to that point, nowhere in the Bible does it say that your goal for, nowhere in the Bible does it say that your purpose for dating is supposed to be pleasing God. Yes, you want to please God in whatever you do, but that's not. Let's not over spiritualize everything. Is you dating someone is the purpose of that is to get to know them so you can see if you want to have a longer relationship with them, if you want to marry them one day. That's the purpose of dating. You might want you want to please God in the process, but you want to please God in the process, but you dating the purpose of you dating is not pleasing God. Like let's calm down on that. So I said, sure, those brothers would be all right, but isn't it at least a little bit shady for the disciple to have not said anything at all? And so I'm not going to read that whole paragraph, but like he's calling the fact that I would call that shady. He's seeing that as being worldly, that we consider that shady, right? So then I basically explain why that's not what he thinks it is. Then he comes back with, but the discipler isn't supposed to be helping him to his goal of dating. Bullshit. Again, I'm like, did we go to the same church? Were we not in the same church where that was not allowed? Where talking to the person directly wasn't allowed, right? That was a thing. You had to go to your disciple. I mean, you could not go through your disciple, but you'd be discipled from hell and back, right? So I'm like, why would he say, if that's the case, then why did he say he helped him in the first place? So he's like, oh, the disciple was wrong for saying that, and the buddy was wrong for believing that. So another sister comes in and tries to toss some sense out. Props to her because she got her head on straight. But then he came back and was like, So the brother comes back saying that the brother who believed that his disciple would help him date him, he didn't deserve that, sisters. Not sorry, not sorry. Tighten up, man up. Again, we got this man up bullshit again. And saying that, well, me and the fellas have no sympathy for that mess at all. We'll laugh at you while we're trying to help you get back together. And the sister was like, yikes. And yes, yikes. That is, I know toxic masculinity gets thrown around a little too much, but it is legitimately a thing, and this is a legit example of it. Toxic masculinity right there. We're going to laugh at you. We're not going to have any empathy for you. We're not going to, okay, because I could, even though I do feel it gets thrown around a whole lot, I do feel like it's a thing. I could talk a long time about that, so let me not go down that road and derail this video. The straw that broke the camel's back for me, like this comment in and of itself, if it was by itself, I wouldn't have had no problem with it. But because I had already seen all the bullshit before, this one had me fucked up. She was like, how about the brothers just tell her if you like her? Mic drop. Fuck out of here with that mic drop shit. Like, you don't mic drop yourself. Unless you are on stage and have a mic in your hand physically, you don't mic drop yourself. That's like liking your own comment, or if I can be a little bit vulgar here, it's like sucking your own dick. Like, you leave it for somebody else to big you up. You leave it for somebody else to validate that you just said something profound. You don't mic drop yourself. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys ever seen people freestyling or whatever, and somebody spitting, somebody's blah, 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 and they say a punchline, and they say the thing, and they go, ooh. No, you don't ooh yourself. The people who are around you who think that you said something dope are supposed to go ooh, not you. You don't mic drop yourself. But yeah, how about the brothers just tell her if you like her? Yes, that's what's supposed to happen. But again, were we not in the same church where we were not allowed to talk to our interests directly? Again, gaslighting all over the place, acting as if this was never a thing, and then chastising people for going the route that they had to go. Oh, well, you never should have gone through your disciple. You should have gone through. You should have gone to them directly. We couldn't. Big shout out to Asha and Nikita Lambert over at Nikita Lambert's channel. There's a video that they did last year. My apologies, I couldn't find it before I recorded this. But in one of the videos, Asha mentions how she mentioned some gaslighting she went through about there was some rule or custom that was in place in her ministry. And at some point they realized how toxic and problematic it was. So they went away from it. So they changed it. But what they also did is they started acting as if the rule was never in place, and then started shaming and rebuking people who were still stuck in the old way. And she was like, how are y'all going to sit here? How are you going to change this thing and then act like we never did it and be mad at people who are still doing it? Like, it's one thing if you're trying to like move people away from it, but to act like it was never a thing, that's some legit gaslighting. And that's what's going on here. So I'm heated all the way fucked up at this point. So I finally broke down and just left this really big comment. Basically, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's right here for you. But I basically said to them everything that I've said in this video already, like explaining why this meme was a thing, explaining why that was so wrong, why that brother had to go directly, why that brother couldn't go directly to his interests and had to go through his discipler. And what I realized way too late was that I was dealing with a bunch of disciples who came in after this stuff stopped. They had been baptized in a ministry where going through your discipler to try to date your interests was no longer a thing. And apparently their ministries had been so far removed from that people didn't even remember that it was a thing. So apparently the vast majority of the people in these comments fit that description. They did not know that this was a thing, that it wasn't currently a thing for them. And it was so far removed from being a thing that nobody remembered. So that's who I was dealing with. I realized way too late that that's the crowd of people I was dealing with. And had I realized it early enough, I would have, again, that would have saved me a whole lot of just stress. And yeah, I wouldn't have gotten riled up for no reason. Again, this is this whole situation highlights the weaponized forgiveness, the weaponized bitterness, and the gaslighting that goes on within the ICOC. Now, here's plot twist here. Plot twist. So earlier in the video, I mentioned that I'm like, okay, this had to have happened before the Henry Kreite letter dropped, right? But I got a little curious, and I was like, you know what? Let me run this by everyone in the XICOC group on Facebook that I'm in. Big shout out to everybody in that group. You guys are amazing. But I asked, hey, were any of you guys a part of ministries that continue to do these things after the Henry Kreite letter? So I specified, having to go through your discipler to date your interest, and two, having new dating couples announced during the fellowship. And I shouldn't be surprised at these answers, but I was surprised that it was still happening recently. Like there's some former members in that group there's some former members in some of the members of the group verified that as late as 2017, 2018, 2019, even early pandemic years, that this was still going on in the ministries that they were in before they left. Some people, more than one person mentioned some churches in Colorado. Some people mentioned some churches in Texas, some in California. So yeah, there was a bunch of different places where, as of the late 2010s, early 2020s, that this stuff was still happening. So I was wrong, and I wish I wasn't, but apparently it was still going on. And if it was still going on back then, I don't think it's a stretch to think that it's still going on in some of the ICOC churches right now. People still having to go through their disciplers to date the person they like. That is goddamn ridiculous that is still happening to this day. So yeah, it isn't just a pre-letter thing. It isn't just as my man Lee would say, an old covenant thing. He calls the way things were before the letter dropped, old covenant, and everything after that, new covenant. So yeah, this isn't just an old covenant thing. Like, apparently it's still going on in some places. But yeah, that's it. That's enough of me ranting right there. Y'all hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all had any situations like this. Again, this is not intended to be an ICOC bashing channel, bashing videos. This is just me being here for the other ex-members. I'm here to be an extra voice for y'all. I'm here to validate you. I'm here to let you know you ain't crazy. I'm here to let you know that it is okay for you to feel whatever you felt. I'm here to help you process, heal, all of that. But yeah, that's it. Y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all at the next video. Peace.